record this.
What's that?
You can record this, you know that, right? Yeah, I know permission to record.
Yeah, I do. What law is that?
You can record.
No, but what? Just tell me the law and I'll live.
So then you guys don't attempt to put that on me. No, don't. One second before you cop explain.
Crime? You are videotaping, taking pictures of employees going in and out of the facility. You don't do that to people's personal vehicles.
What law is that? Any more of your questions? You're dismissed. You can leave me alone. Do not bother me. Do not infringe.
I'm doing this because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay? I'm doing this because it's constitution protected activity. You just trespassed me from the steps of City Hall.
Yes.
What happens when someone exercises their right to film only to be confronted by law enforcement demanding identification? This interaction escalates quickly as a simple photo-taking activity turns into a heated debate about rights and authority. Stick around as we dive into this tense encounter that highlights the fine line between lawful conduct and power struggles.
How are you? Good morning. As long as you stay on the public side of the property, we're good to go, okay? Obviously with their fence, there's no expectation of privacy, but you just have to stay on public property. Okay? Is that a yes or no? All right, that's your warning if you cross into their private property.
I don't need a warning.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
These guys come out barking orders that I'm on their property. I'm on a public area.
Okay.
You know, had they just come out and been cordial, you wouldn't even, you know, they're wasting resources. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going on their property. I have no ill intent. I told them what I'm doing. That wasn't good enough. So they're just wasting, you know, taxpayers' money when you could be out doing something beneficial to the community.
Okay. And like I came over to you cordially, I just explained to you, as long as you stay on public property,
I don't need an
you're
explanation.
fine.
I know what I'm doing. I do this all the time.
Okay.
Did you educate them?
I did.
Good.
100%.
Thank you.
They're going to verify their property line as to where the public and private property divides, and then they'll get back to you if they need you removed from the property.
Oh,
as
they're
of
not
right
going to
now,
get
you're
back
on
to me.
public property,
Right.
so you're fine.
Where I've always been.
Okay, is there anything else you need today, sir?
I don't need jack.
Have a good day.
There you go, bud. You got educated.
This is property of mine. I can wear it if it's cold outside.
Okay, then you need to identify. So one, pull it down so I can see your face.
So let me see this officer's ID. Then when he identifies him where he lives at, then I would like to.
That's not how it works.
Okay, well then, sir, this is kind of like a circular conversation, right?
No.
It is. It's very circular conversation. You're asking for something.
I'm asking
giving
for
you a
ID
response.
that you're not giving
And I'm
to me.
telling you, sir, that I don't have any ID on me.
You can give me your name.
I don't want to give my name, sir.
Right. That's the problem.
So now
So
you're telling
how
me.
do I know that you're not wanted?
So now you're telling me that when you're just walking down the street, you can just go to somebody and say, "Hey, let me see your ID."
No. If I see someone taking pictures of a government building, I can walk up and say, "Can I see your ID?" You're taking
And they
pictures
have
of a government building.
and then they have an option to say, "I have it" or "I don't." Correct?
No.
So they just need to give it to you.
If the police come out and talk to you and say,
You
I
just
need
need to
your
give it to
ID,
them.
you need to provide
What's
ID.
that penal code then?
What's that?
What's that penal code? What's
The
the
PO code.
The penal code. What is it? What's the law?
You
that's
need to
saying?
identify yourself to the police if we're asking you
What's
for your
the
identification.
law saying that?
Why don't you look
Give
it
me-
up? Do
Well,
you have
No,
a law-
I
Are
don't.
you a lawyer?
No, I'm not.
You seem to know the law.
But are you a law officer?
I am.
So you should know the law, correct?
You need to identify yourself.
So then
to me
I'm
if
asking
for
you
your
to
name.
tell me
Sir,
what
we're
the
not
law-
going down this road.
Exactly,
You need
it's
to
a
identify
circular
yourself.
conversation,
No, we're not.
sir.
You need to identify yourself to us. Otherwise, you need to identify yourself.
Otherwise, you're taking my rights away from me, essentially.
I'm not taking your rights away.
You are. You're telling me to identify myself when I'm
Yes.
just walking down on a...
You're not just walking down. You're taking pictures of a government building.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of government property.
And I'm not allowed to do that? That's
No.
a crime?
Well, we need to identify, see who you are.
Is that a crime? Yes or no?
You cannot take pictures of a government building.
That's a crime. To take pictures of...
You have no ID on you whatsoever. So if we search you have nothing on you?
I don't consent to any searches, sir.
Okay, well, we'll see about that.
So I talked to Sarge, I talked to our supervisor, I'm Officer Gardner, type please. So you understand our concern today?
I don't understand your
Okay.
concern,
So
sir.
what were you at? I missed the beginning of it, so I don't want to say third party. What was your purpose for being out here today?
I'm just taking pictures.
Okay. What are you taking pictures of?
I'm just taking pictures.
Okay. You're just out taking pictures?
Correct.
Is there for any reason?
For my own use.
For your own use?
Yes.
Okay. So we talked to our supervisor. They told you about the mask, so that's why you can understand our concern, right? When people are out taking pictures of government buildings or cruisers, you can understand as law enforcement why we get concerned about that, right?
No.
You don't see why
You
it's a
don't see
concern?
any concern in that?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay. Well, I think most people would probably agree that it's concerning if people are coming up and taking pictures, especially this day and age. And
What do you mean by this day and age?
This day and age was like there's wars and stuff going on, and people plotting, and Boston Marathon bombings and stuff like that. So when people are taking pictures,
well,
usually,
I have nothing to do about that.
No,
sir.
I'm not accusing you. I'm telling you from our perspective why we come out and why it's our job to investigate. Because we want to make sure that everybody's going to be safe and sound, right? That's our job as law enforcement.
Correct.
Okay, so that's why.
But,
so when we meet somebody walking around,
I completely understand
let me finish,
that.
and I'll let you talk. So from our perspective, that's why we're concerned. Okay, we have somebody out here in a mask who doesn't want to identify themselves to law enforcement, who's taking pictures of government buildings. That's our job. That's our job to figure out what's going on. And then when somebody doesn't want to cooperate, that raises even more questions. Okay, so do you understand that now? Or do you understand from where I'm coming from, my perspective?
I can see where you're coming from, but
perfect.
now let's try to see where I'm coming from, right? So I'm just walking down the street, and I'm taking pictures, and all of a sudden you guys just want to ID me, correct?
No, that's not correct. You were not just walking down the street taking pictures of trees or birds.
Yes, I
taking
was.
pictures of government buildings.
No, yes, I was.
Okay.
I was taking a picture of everything that I can see.
Yep. Okay.
Wherever my eye can see, that's what I was taking pictures of.
Okay. Well,
Correct? And is that a crime, taking pictures? Yes or no?
No, you're out in public, you can
So
take
what
pictures.
am I doing here right now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 officers around me that I'm not allowed to walk freely?
Well, that's our job. And
Okay, so
we're asking. I've never said you can't walk freely.
Mr. Walsh did, I
we're
believe.
asking- well,
And
because-
when I tried to walk by, I think Mr. Parrish said I can't go anywhere.
Well,
So that's to me is impeding my way, correct? I asked you why you're impeding my way.
because we're still trying to
trying to
figure out- we're still
investigate
trying
who
to
you are and
obtain
what you're doing.
information.
Okay, so
we're still trying to obtain information.
Great.
You can see our concern, right? You said you've agreed. You can see our concern.
I didn't say anything. I
That's
can see where you're coming from. That's
Okay.
not understanding where I'm coming from, but I can understand where you're coming from. Sure, but it has nothing to do about me walking around taking pictures, sir.
Is there a reason why you don't want to identify yourself?
I don't need to. It's not. I haven't committed a crime.
I'll just say, if you cooperate with law enforcement, we get your name,
Okay, so how about this? What's your name, sir?
Officer Gardner.
Can I see your ID?
Why do you want to see my ID?
Because you want to see mine.
This was issued by my
No,
department.
sir.
My
I understand. I
name's on
see
my-
that, Mr. Gardner,
my
right?
name's on my-
I understand that, sir. But let me see your ID, your Virginia State or your.
law enforcement?
No, not.
Okay, so
And-
you don't need to see my identification.
Correct.
This right here.
And
is
you don't need
We're
to.
law enforcement.
That's our
I
job.
understand, but you're
So
law
we need to see your
enforcement.
ID.
You guys are
Identify
here
you.
to uphold the law, correct?
Excuse me, you have no permission to record this.
What's that?
You can record this, you know that, right? Yeah, no permission to record.
Yeah, I do. What law is that?
You can record.
No, but what? Just tell me the law and I'll leave. Just tell me the law and I'll leave. It's a fair question. Just tell me the law.
Police, I have no problem doing that because I'm affected this way.
Go ahead, call the police.
We're all being affected by your negligence.
Don't touch my camera.
I'm not touching.
Just tell me the law. You want me, for what? You're telling me I have no permission, but I do. Tell me the law that tells me I can't do it. You can't just come up and say I can't do it. Tell me the law. This is a public lobby. I'm allowed to do this. Here you go. Walk of shame.
At the end of the day, this confrontation is a reminder of the importance of knowing your rights, especially when you're simply going about your day. The lesson here, whether you're taking pictures or walking down the street, it's crucial to stand firm, understand the law, and challenge authority when necessary. What happens when someone is simply filming in public and law enforcement demands their ID? What starts as an innocent activity quickly escalates as police question the right to record citing suspicion. Stick around as we dive into this heated interaction where constitutional rights and police authority clash head-on.
You understand looking at vehicles like that is suspicious. Why is it suspicious? People entering cars? I didn't enter a car. You're looking into a car, that's suspicious on a why is that suspicious? See the signs over here? I'm not parking. No, it's not restricted. It says do not enter, no parking. I'm not parking. I'm walking. Why are you recording? This is open to the public, guys. You're looking inside vehicles. Okay, so at this moment I'm going to grab my Constitution form for you guys. I'll let you guys read it. Here's a copy of the Constitution for you. Would you like to have one? Would you like to have one? I appreciate it. So would you like to have a copy of one?
Certainly.
This is awesome. Now I need you guys to read the First Amendment
Yep, I know.
Okay, that's all.
So what he's getting at though
That's it, and that's all.
What he's getting at though is in the city of Glendale, we get a lot of entry to vehicles and stolen vehicles.
That has nothing to do with what I'm doing, and you can't put further crimes on me at this moment. I've done nothing.
I never said I was looking into vehicles.
Well, it doesn't. What happens in the past doesn't make me suspicious for doing what I'm doing. Okay, and what crime is suspicion? And what crime is suspicion?
When somebody's going up to vehicles that
What crime is that?
Are you gonna let me answer?
No, I just want the crime. What is it? What crime am I violating by you saying I'm suspicious? What crime is that?
All right, by going up to vehicles that don't belong to you.
What crime?
Looking into them. All right, that's the steps leading up to
Penal code.
entering a locked vehicle, which is
Penal
a crime.
code. I'm looking for the penal code that I'm in violation of here. You're saying suspicious. No, you said I'm suspicious. That's not law.
Right.
There's no law that you
But
can.
you understand under the Constitution that you're referring to, right? That if
I have a right to record in public.
if
Yes.
an officer has reasonable suspicion to believe that crime is afoot.
And what crime is
I
afoot?
just told you.
Suspicion is not a crime, sir. I'm asking for a crime. No, that okay. Did you see me try to enter a vehicle? So then you guys don't attempt to put that on me. No, don't. One second before you cop-splain. 1 second. Don't cop-splain because I didn't even touch a vehicle, guys. You have cameras. I didn't even touch a vehicle. So don't try to say I'm unlawfully entering any vehicle, okay? So then there is no crime being committed, right? So then therefore you guys are talking to me because
Suspicious.
is suspicion a crime?
If an officer has reasonable suspicion.
What penal code is suspicion? No, you have to have suspicion of a crime.
Correct.
What crime?
I told you entry to a locked vehicle.
But you know what you guys see I haven't entered any vehicle, so how could that be in your mind as a crime?
Yeah. So
I mean, this is ridiculous, guys. I just gave you the Constitution. I'm allowed to film in public. I'm in public. I haven't touched a single vehicle. There's no reason for us to even have this conversation.
why not?
Because I'm not doing anything illegal. You guys are here to uphold laws.
Right.
If no law is being broken, you hold no authority. So you telling me my actions are suspicious, that's just you telling me my actions are suspicious.
Correct.
So prove a crime.
But we're not proving a crime. That's why.
So then why are we talking?
Because we have a duty.
You guys could have allowed me to just go ahead and gather my content and go about my business. I didn't do anything. You didn't even have to initiate contact.
Sure.
No, you didn't have to. No, you chose to.
Right.
You chose to. No, it's not because no crime was being broken. No crime was being committed. You said suspicion. That's not a crime. No crime was actually being committed.
So
we've explained ourselves. You've explained
No worries.
yourselves.
Suspicion is not a crime. For future references,
but
suspicion
it gives
is
us
not a
reason-
crime.
It gives us a reason to come up and speak to
You could come up. If you choose to come up and speak, then that's your choice. But until a crime is actually being committed, you have no authority. The best thing for you guys to have done was to wait and see if I did anything illegal. Instead of just coming and saying, oh, you're suspicious. No, because you came out and said I was suspicious of a crime. Me just doing a First Amendment protected activity is suspicion of a crime.
At the end of the day, this encounter serves as a reminder that suspicion alone isn't enough for law enforcement to overstep their bounds. The real lesson here, know your rights, stand firm, and never let authorities trample on them when you're doing nothing wrong. What happens when a sheriff tries to enforce his authority over a simple First Amendment activity? This encounter at the West Valley Detention Center reveals a battle of rights and misunderstandings. Stick around to see how a sheriff's power trip is shut down by the law and why education on constitutional rights is more important than ever.
The jail?
For what purpose?
My purpose.
For your purpose? Okay, but what is there?
I don't have to answer you. It's a lawful act, so I wish to break contact. Thank you. You can contact your supervisor if you need to.
We
But
are. He's the supervisor.
all right, you have a good day.
Well, I need to know why
You don't need to know anything. What is this a crime?
Because you are videotaping, taking pictures of employees going in and out of the facility. You don't do that to people's personal vehicles.
What law is that? State of Penal Code.
Huh?
State of Penal Code, because Penal Code 148.g clearly establishes the fact that I can record any public entity, your supervisor, excuse me, and that photographer, No, you work for me. I don't work for you. No, well then you can. You're being live streamed too, so there's already calls being done to you. You see this guy? This guy thinks because he pulls up, I'm his property when I'm not doing nothing wrong. Fordyce versus Seattle clearly states the fact that I can record public officials. 148.G clearly states that photography alone, when it's done in a legal spot, cannot be deemed suspicious. So I would suggest you get a supervisor, sir. Before you make your department look bad, I would get a supervisor. I know what I'm doing very well, sir. Just doing a little story, man. That's it. Yeah, where my tax dollars go. Yeah, including yours. My tax dollars go to pay you. That's why when you approach me, you should have more respect. In any other field, if you... I'm here, but yeah, but you're telling me that I need to tell you. I don't need to tell you anything. No, I know, but yeah, but you said you wanted to know. No, I'm not. I'm public property, sir.
Okay, but you are here.
I am public property. Well, are you against the First Amendment, sir? What is your name badge number? This is D. Martinez.
What's your name?
I don't need to give it.
Yeah, I need to get you my identification.
No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir.
Yes, I do.
No, I didn't.
I need to know who I'm contacting.
No. For what crime, sir? Hey, can you guys make a call? I'm at the West Valley Detention Center in San Bernardino. Mr. Martinez thinks that just because he pulls up and he's wearing a tin badge, you can just ask for an ID when I'm doing a First Amendment protected activity. You ain't gonna get no ID because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay, I just want to know who I'm contacting. What's your name, sir?
No, thank you. You can call me good citizen.
What's your name?
You can call me good citizen.
What is your name?
I don't need to. I'm not committing a crime, sir. I'm just a journalist doing a little story. Now you're making doing a story.
Story for what?
For me?
For yourself?
Yeah, free press. Free press, yeah.
Free press?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
He's trying to ID me about he doesn't have a crime. I know very well what I'm doing, sir. And you can't just pull up and start asking for ID. That's not how the law works.
That's who your name is.
Yeah, but that's who you're trying to ID me.
Yeah, we're trying to ID you because you're just out here taking pictures.
But that's not okay. What is your ID law, sir, California? I'm supposed to ID after I'm legally booked. That's the law in California. So
you can ask me for my credentials.
Well, you work for me, sir.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, let me see your ID where you live.
Why do you need to
Why would you need to see my ID then?
I don't need to see where you live. I'm just asking who you are.
I'm a citizen, taxpaying citizen who employs you, sir.
Who employs me?
Yes, sir.
He's the guy who sits in front of headquarters all the time. We've had many run-ins. Have fun out here, sir. You have a good day.
Hey, Martinez. I'm not going to charge you this time for educating you, man.
Thank you for the education.
All right, you're welcome. No, I was talking to Martinez. You already were educated.
In the end, this encounter serves as a powerful reminder. The law protects your right to record and express yourself in public spaces. The real lesson here: stay informed, stand up for your rights, and don't let anyone, no matter their badge, intimidate you when you're on the right side of the law. What happens when a simple public recording turns into a showdown with law enforcement? In this tense encounter at the South Milwaukee Police Department, a citizen exercises his First Amendment rights, only to face officers who clearly misunderstand the law. Stick around as this confrontation reveals how constitutional rights are too often ignored, and how one person stands firm to educate the officers.
Name and your badge number?
My name is Mike Hill. My badge number is 826.
What's your name and your badge number?
Edwards, 1612.
Edwards, 1612. Okay. What's your name and your badge number since you stepped out here as well?
I want to know why your video...
Name and your badge number? Name and your badge number?
What can I do for you today, sir?
What's your name and your badge number? That's what you could do for me.
My name is Officer Nate Seifert. My badge number is 1019. What can I do for you
Okay,
today?
here you go. That's all you can do for me. Read that and leave me alone.
I'm not taking that.
Okay, well, this is my constitutional amendment rights. Right now, I'm engaged in my First Amendment right to record in public.
Right.
So with that being said, you gentlemen can go on. You're dismissed. With that being said, you gentlemen are dismissed.
Why are you recording inside?
With that being said, I'm not recording inside of anything. I'm looking for squad cars. That is it, and that's all. Now, I've explained myself enough to you. I will no longer answer any more of your questions. You're dismissed. You can leave me alone. Do not bother me. Do not infringe upon my constitutional right to record in public. You are public servants. I am recording my public officials working under their official capacity. Okay? I showed you my Constitution amendments. You refuse to even read it. You guys need to read the Constitution more often. I don't answer questions.
Okay.
Am I committing breaking the law? Shall I say?
You are being detained.
Okay. For what crime?
Right?
No. He just said I was being detained. No. Okay. So see, this is the problem we have with our cops. He just said I was detained, and this clown here, he corrected him. I know I'm not being detained. I wish you would have tried to detain me for this. I wish you would. With that being said, you guys are dismissed. What's your name and your badge number since you walked out here? What's your name and your badge number? No, you have to identify yourself. What is your name and your badge number, sir? Failure to identify. Got one. With that being said, you guys are dismissed. Bye. No, I don't care where you work. You don't. I don't work for you. I don't work for you. I'm allowed to officially record my public vehicles. I'm looking for undercover cars and your squad cars. That's what I'm here doing. I already explained that to you. Now carry on, because you guys should have left me alone. This is you failed.
Recording inside personal vehicles.
I am looking for squad cars and undercovers. I told you that 4 times now, going on 5 times. I'm about to reiterate it. With that being said, I am done answering questions, and you guys can leave me be, please.
Okay. We can watch you just as much as
you sure can, but this is a waste of our taxpayers' dollars. Okay. You guys just standing here watching somebody do something not anything crime-breaking, criminal, nefarious, nothing. And you're just going to stand there and watch them? Sure. No crime happening in South Milwaukee? Everybody safe in South Milwaukee?
Well, right now you got our attention.
Okay, why do I have your attention? For conducting in a First Amendment protected activity?
Okay,
I'm conducting in a First Amendment protected activity. How do I have your attention?
Because when I rolled up, parked in our squad, you were looking inside personal vehicles of employees of the police department.
Okay.
That's unusual.
Is this not public property?
It is.
Okay, and I can record in public, right?
You sure can.
So how is that unusual?
Because it's
No. How?
Sir, you asked me a question, and then I try to
Before
answer.
you cop-splain, just answer the single question. If you know I am out in public on public property, and my First Amendment protected activity says I can record in public, and that is what I am doing, how is it unusual?
Because I have never seen it before.
So it doesn't matter. What does my Constitution say, sir?
Sir, you're asking what's unusual. What's unusual is something that doesn't happen normally.
How is it unusual if it's in the Constitution saying you can do it? It doesn't matter if you've seen it happen or he or he. It's in the Constitution.
Show me in the Constitution.
The first one, the very first one says freedom of speech, religion, the press, assembly, petition. Okay. You know what the press is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all that needs to be. You said show you. I just showed you.
You understand that when the
Would you like to read this?
Sure, I'll
Here,
take a look at it.
that's a copy. Would you like a copy as well, sir? I have multiple copies for you gentlemen, because you guys should knowledge up on our constitutional rights. I'm a productive member of society. I am literally a citizen of the United States. My name is Good Citizen.
Mr. Good Citizen.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing here.
I told you 5 times what I was doing. I willingly gave you information more than I even had to.
To look for undercover vehicles.
I am here to publicly record my public servants, my public officials, because my tax dollars pay for you guys to strut your stuff and walk around abusing your authority like you do.
Do you live in South Milwaukee?
What does it matter?
I'm just asking.
My tax dollars pay for you guys to abuse your authority like this. I have to make sure we hold our public servants accountable.
I agree.
You guys have to do your job. Your job is to uphold laws. You saw how you rode in here like that? You saw no law being broken. You said, oh, this guy, he's looking in the vehicles with his cameras, but that's not against the law. No law was being broken, and yet here I am surrounded by 3 cops. There was 4 before you sent. This is not, you guys are equally spaced apart. To my right, to my left, and to my middle. I could turn around and run to the car, sure.
You're free to go and encumbered your movement whatsoever.
Yes, you stopped me to talk to me and ask me what I was doing. Yes.
And did I lay hands on you? Did I order you to stop?
You even told him I wasn't detained after he told me I was detained. You're obviously smarter than the rest of these clowns. So you know what's going on. I will say whatever I want to say. You will not cop-splain me and talk over me. If you gonna sit here, because you did stop me and impede my First Amendment protect. Exactly, that's impeding me from continuing on my business. How is that not? No, you cannot. I don't have to answer a single question of your guys's. Are you joking right now? I chose to answer your question.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you as well. Bye. You see that? South Milwaukee Police Department, guys.
In the end, this incident is a powerful reminder that knowing your rights is crucial, when dealing with law enforcement. The lesson here: if you're not committing a crime, you don't have to answer questions or comply with unlawful requests. Stay informed, stand your ground, and never let anyone violate your constitutional rights. Imagine being told you can't practice your First Amendment rights in a public space. In this video, we watch as an activist challenges the law enforcement officers in Tarpon Springs, Florida, for attempting to shut down his peaceful act of soliciting prayers for homeless veterans. Watch how an illegal trespass is reversed in the blink of an eye, but not before an intense confrontation. Will the city respect his rights? Let's see how this unfolds.
Asking for money?
I am soliciting, yes.
You're soliciting?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Can I see the back of the sign?
Yeah.
Okay. Help me not hate. Okay. Well, I'm not going to hate on you.
All right.
I don't know what kind of situation you're in or anything.
Uh-huh.
I understand that, times are hard and stuff. But here's my thing is we have an ordinance in Tarpon Springs that does not allow panhandling and soliciting. Okay, so what I'd like to do is get your name and stuff and then have you moved along.
I'd rather not give my name or anything like that.
Okay. You'd rather not give your name?
No.
Okay. Well, would you vacate the property?
Not unless I'm being trespassed or something.
Okay. Well, so what we're dealing with here is more that you're...
There's no solicitation.
Soliciting on city property at this point.
Yeah, I'm in front of City Hall, at the steps of City Hall.
Yeah,
yes.
You can't solicit in the city of Tarpon Springs, period.
Sure you can.
You can't.
It's constitutionally protected activity.
You can't. It's an ordinance in the city. It's against the law in the city. You can't do it.
Well, that would be unconstitutional.
That's something you have to take up with your attorney.
Can you guys take it up with your attorney instead?
No, it's not my job.
Can you call your attorney?
No.
Can you call the city manager?
You can't. The city manager doesn't want to call us.
City managers want to call?
Yeah.
Can you have him come out here?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not an issue for him to deal with.
I mean, because I'd rather, you guys not violate my rights.
I'm not violating your rights.
It is.
You can't solicit.
Solicitation is free speech.
You can't solicit.
I can and I am. I can and I am.
We can trespass you from City Hall.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would rather you not do that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be trespassed from City Hall.
Can you please not do that?
You're no longer licensed, authorized, or invited to be on or remain on this property. If you remain on this property, if you come back to this property with 1 year, be subject to arrest for trespassing after notification.
Starting right now?
Yes.
Okay, let me get my property here. I'll step off the City Hall property.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Got your ID on you?
I do.
Can I see it, please?
No.
Huh?
No, sir.
All right. You come back to this property, you're going to be arrested.
I'm not on the property anymore.
So what you're doing is just doing this to get a rise, is basically.
I'm doing this because you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay?
That's okay.
I'm doing this because it's constitutionally protected activity. You just trespassed me from the steps of City Hall for free speech.
Yes.
And you're cool with that.
That's not free speach.
Saying God bless homeless veterans is not free speech.
You're soliciting.
Soliciting for good compassion and prayers for the homeless.
You can do that right here on the sidewalk.
But I can't do it on City Hall steps. If I step back on this property,
you're going to go to jail.
Okay. I'm going to go to jail.
Just go over there and...
Why don't you go get the city attorney? Listen, this guy's an idiot. This guy's a big dummy.
Okay.
You seem more reasonable. I don't want to talk to big dummy anymore. Can you be quiet, big dummy?
I don't work for you, so...
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
I'm your boss.
No, you're not.
But can you go get the city attorney and talk to him?
I'm not going to get the city attorney.
Can you get the city manager?
No.
City attorney.
Can you get the mayor?
No.
Either one are going to come over.
Before
If you'd like to, you can set up an appointment.
If you guys do this, I'm going to sue you. I'd rather not sue you.
Look, I'm talking to you reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Your qualified immunity is not going to survive this.
Listen to me. I'm just telling you.
No, you listen to me. Your qualified immunity is not going to survive
this.
this.
110%.
All right.
But what I'm explaining to you is they're not going to just come out here right now.
Why? Because they're too big and important to come talk to me?
I don't make their schedule and I don't make their work.
Look, I'm trying to keep you guys out of a lawsuit.
Okay.
Can you please?
What you're doing.
What is the number to the city attorney? I'll call him myself.
If you give me a second, I can go look for you.
Okay. Can you guys just call the city attorney?
I don't have them on speed dial. It's not something I just have on me.
All right, because
I can go try to get that.
This is soliciting prayers and goodwill and compassion.
That's why I asked you what was on your sign.
For the homeless.
That's why I asked you what was on your sign.
And I said I was soliciting prayers and homeless and stuff, and I have a right to do that on city property underneath the American flag.
I understand.
This is freedom of speech.
You're using your rights, in which I advocate for your rights just as much as I do for my own.
You guys aren't doing that because you're trespassing me from city property.
But what I'm trying to do is we're trying to get it set up so I can speak to somebody if you wish to do so. I have no problem with that.
Well, I would like for you guys to speak to somebody. I would like for you guys to explain to somebody what I'm doing and rescind this trespass right now. Can you do that?
They're getting people on the phone. My sergeant's actually going to talk to somebody so they can talk to you.
That's
Is that
cool.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, absolutely.
And you're Officer Sparks. My name is Jeff.
Officer Sparks, nice to meet you, Jeff.
All right, so here's the thing. If you want to sit here with your sign, you're more than welcome to. They ask you not to block the steps.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you want to sit on the bench, you're more than welcome to sit on the bench.
This incident shows just how vital it is to know your rights when interacting with law enforcement. It's clear that a little knowledge and persistence can quickly turn a wrongful trespass into a powerful lesson for the public servants. The key takeaway: don't let anyone trample on your rights and always stand your ground when you know you're right.